It is so interesting to me when people comment on like celebrities videos or content creator videos and they're like, oh, I want your life. I wish I had your life. But I ever wonder if people stop to take a second and think what they had to do to get to that life, the mistakes they had to post online, the opinions they had to hear from others, the criticism, the hate. I'm wondering even if people are willing to be that vulnerable to get to where people get in successful positions, or even if it's not content creation and celebrities and exploiting your life essentially, even losing the sleep and the funds and the money of entrepreneurs that build their business. Everyone wants the success, but when you really think about what goes behind the success, like losing time with your family, losing funds, and all of these negative things that most likely will happen if you're making a grandiose amount of money, or famous for putting yourself out there and being online. There's so many things that come with that I don't think people really understand the magnitude of what that is. And even for myself, I've struggled with constantly posting content creation and taking it down and opening and closing pages, because I always wonder, do I want people to be vocal about what I do in my life, or my opinions or my perspectives? And I always kind of struggled with that idea, but then I realized if you don't want people talking about you, then you might as well do nothing. And even when you do nothing, there's still struggles and things that come with that. So it all comes down to really what type of potential things are you willing to endure? Because there's a very strong reality that people will have opinions, people will say negative things, people will take things the wrong way, and people may not agree, and that's totally okay. And then they're in their right to not agree, but how much of that can you really handle? So I've really tried to get out of the mentality that I can't control what people have to say, and if people have a negative narrative on me, that might be an indicator that I've made it kind of somewhere in my life if that many people have a negative opinion. But you have to come with the reality that behind that success is a lot of pain, a lot of opinion, a lot of work, a lot of sacrifice. And be realistic when you see somebody else thriving and know that they put in that work to get to where they did, to get to where they are. Most of us have to. It doesn't just come out of thin air and come out of nowhere. So before you're like, man, why didn't God give me that life? Why didn't God give me those things, that money? It comes with a price, and a lot of us aren't willing to pay that. And you have to kind of look at what that price is. If it's being vulnerable online, exploiting your life, putting your business out there, sacrificing your time, sacrificing moments with your family, are we really willing to go through those things to reach what we deem as successful? So it's kind of scaling back and really asking ourselves what we want out of life, and what we're willing to give up in life to get greater. And it doesn't always have to be this morally compromising thing, right? It may just be sacrificing a little bit of your social life and your hobbies in order to pour into what you want, sacrificing your sleep, your routine, squeezing things in even when you don't feel like it, and having that level of discipline. But not everybody, but most people look at the results and only want that, and take away all of the work that people put into their craft. And I think that it's interesting seeing comments on successful people's pages or businesses, of, well, can you send me money? And why can't I? And why did you? And it's like, understand that there is so much more that goes into that, and really ask yourself if you want that for you. And also, even just posting things online and being this comfortable, and even if I'm not comfortable, being this courageous in posting my own opinion and my own thoughts is scary and it's risky. But also, doing nothing may spare you from judgment, but there also may be that regret and that dissatisfaction. You kind of have to choose your hard when it comes to battling between putting yourself out there and hiding yourself away. You have to kind of weigh the pros and cons of that. And when people first started getting into social media, I don't think they understand the magnitude of what that looked like, of people digging into their lives and pulling out stories and doing all of these things. And yes, you may have this good set up life where you don't have to worry, but you also don't have privacy. And what do those things mean to you? And not everybody's situation is the same, but it's so important to look at what people have and say, yeah, that might not be worth it to me, so that you can kind of talk yourself off that ledge of, I wish I had their life, or I wish I had that. It's really interesting when you think about what people go through to get what they have. And there's a small percentage of people that really get lucky and things happen, but most of us have to work hard, most of us have to sacrifice, and it's just wondering and asking yourself if you're willing to do that. So yeah, I just thought that was an interesting thought. But you can have a great life. You can put yourself out there. You can constantly risk rejection and failure and opinions of others if you're willing to get to the other side of that. But if you're not, it might be more work than you bargained for. So always lay it out clear and plain when you look at other people's life and think the grass is greener, because there are sacrifices that we do not know that happened along the way.